we don't need this anymore. Oh, God. Just kind of... Hi, we're back again with another upgrade video. This time though is not on Sasha, my 2017 Tacoma, and it's not on Blue, my 2012 Mazdaspeed 3. It is on my old car, which is her car. It is a 2008 Mazda 3 GT. It used to be my car and now it is not. And one of the biggest complaints that I had about this car that followed into her having about this car is that the modern age utilizes cell phones for your social medias and your regular medias and your musics and all that sort of stuff. So when you're driving down the road, usually you want to hook up your phone to be able to listen to music and stuff and play your audiobooks or whatever you do. So the older cars don't really give you that option. Like there's aux cables and whatnot you can plug into, but I'm a big fan of Bluetooth and wireless everything. I want to start the car, have it auto connect, auto play, and go. So we have to get rid of all of this. Now we love having the CD player in the car, and that was a big selling point for me because I wanted to have a CD player in my car when I got this one, but unfortunately it's got to go if we're going to be putting a screen. So I did a ton of researching because I'm doing an upgrade in Blue, my Mazdaspeed 3. And I did a ton of research and found the company Eonon, E-O-N-O-N, and they were the most compatible, oh yeah, there you go. They were the most compatible system for my car with maintaining all the OEM buttons on the steering wheel and all that sort of stuff. And so I figured if it's the best one for the Speed 3, it's got to be the best one for the GT. And so that's what we got. So today we're going to be installing that. It should not take very long to install this. It's legitimately one piece of trim and 2 screws and then the wiring harness. We will be installing a backup camera as well in this video that is specifically from Eonon, along with this other little thing. Where'd it go? This right here, which is an OBD2 scanner. So it hooks, Bluetooth connects to the head unit and it plugs into your OBD2 port. So you can literally read engine codes and all that sort of stuff, live data, I'm pretty sure. Directly from your head unit in the car, which is super useful in the Tacoma and the Speed, which I have my own individual way of doing that, so that's great. Yeah, so we're gonna do those, but it's really freaking hot, and so we're gonna do the head unit first, and then on a different day with a different shirt and maybe the sun not out, we will install the backup camera and then play around with that. So enough rambling, we're gonna open it up and see what it looks like. So one of the nice things about the Eonon setup is you don't have to buy any separate like trim pieces or whatever. It's not like you're just getting a screen and then you have to buy an adapter in order for it to fit inside of the dashboard of the car. It comes from the company with the adapter preset, which is super nice. So you can see the plastic along the outside is built in around the screen. So it literally is a plug and play option. So the screen looks really good. Yeah, it's freaking massive.
Protect until we get it.
Absolutely massive. Yeah, it's got a screen protector on it too. We'll pull off. But, oh, that's something we could order, is a screen protector itself. First step, we're going to be pulling off this trim piece right here. So I don't know exactly where to start, but I have my little plastic trim removal tool here, and I'm just going to work my way along the edge, and there should just be clips that are in here somewhere. So you've got a clip, 2 clip, 3 clip, 4 clip, and then this one on the right side slides in like that. So don't yank on that too hard and that'll come right out. Set that right up there. Now all we have to do is remove this Phillips screw and this Phillips screw, and this entire thing comes out, and that's it, which is super cool.
Oh damn.
Just like that. And there is, oh, also make sure that you pull your CDs out before you do this. We already did that, obviously, because if you leave them in here, you're never going to get them back. But there is your factory infotainment system and CD drive. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug all of the big plugs and stuff back here. I'm sure you can figure out how a plug works. So we have our little instruction book here, which gives you number 1 through 7. It shows you the cable bundle and what port it plugs into, and everything is pretty much associated with the harness. So starting with number 1, which is our audio jack adapter. We connected the main power to the big main power harness. We used the audio adapter to connect to the front and rear audio out. Now I don't know, it doesn't specify on here, it just says audio in right and left on each of the cables. So I just split the two. So one of the pairs is going to rear and one of the pairs is going to front. I assume it'll work, but who knows. This is going to be our antenna cable, which is going to plug in here. Our GPS cable plugs in there like we showed, and that is going to have to get routed up onto the dash somewhere or somewhere else so it can actually receive a signal. And then the last little bit was this plug that was sticking out, which came off of the screen here. And so that's what these mounting brackets are for. And so we're going to mount these to the side of the Eonon head unit. We're going to unbolt the factory screen from the infotainment system, the factory one, and then we can bolt this onto the top of the Eonon and then plug it in and run it like that. So these brackets are labeled as R and L for right and left. The L would be driver and the R would be passenger. I believe that would make sense to me. And then
there's only one way these little tabbies go on.
Oh, interesting.
Tiny plastic tabby.
Eonon makes it very easy for you because those little tabs or little plastic dots that are coming up through there align the, there you go, align the bracket how it's supposed to be. And you can tell it's supposed to be that way because of the way that it is.
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is. Wow.
Now how do I, oh boy. I'm gonna need a tiny flathead. Well, this is fun. Well, you saw how I did that. Basically, I came in from the front of the infotainment system side and then slid between the plastic clip and the top of this piece of metal and just kind of wiggled the screwdriver in until I got it far enough to lift the latch off of that little hole right there, and then it slides off the back. So now that's off, I can put that on the floor, never to be seen again. And now we get to take this and mount it onto the top of this. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect the radio antenna. I'm going to two-hand this so you're not going to see it with the camera. But basically I'm going to run the GPS signal cable all the way through here. And then I'll tuck it along the edge here and then up into the windshield. But I need to test the length first. And then while I'm holding that, Martine is going to install the trim piece so it'll stay nice and pretty behind it. So what I ended up doing is the top of the glove box housing has two Phillips head screws, and I undid those so I could lift this plastic edge of the glove box out a little bit and then run the cable into that because it was getting in the way of the trim sitting flush against the dash. And so we just have it running from here through the back of here, like above the glove box. It's coming out right here, so we'll have to probably do something about that in the future, maybe tuck it up into the dash and have it come out by the A-pillar. But for now, it's just going to rest up here. I'm not going to tape it down because if it's not going to do anything, then we'll just take it out so it's not sitting there. But if it does do something, then we'll tape it down. I'm going to go ahead and clean up and then put the battery back on and see what this thing does. Battery is installed. Let's go ahead and just go to the on. You don't need to start it yet. We'll just see what happens. Ooh.
It says hello.
That takes a while. Okay. Ooh. I'd say the speakers work. Wow. All right, fire up the car. Let's do it. And roll these windows up and turn on the air conditioning. Shit.
Used car business. Yes, you do.
My kid, she was no more than 2.
Next next thing, we're gonna give this a shot, the OBD2 scanner. So literally, you undo it from here, you plug it into the OBD2 port, which is in the bottom left of the steering wheel, and it looks like, oh, you leave your car on. Looks like that. For those of you that have used like the tracking chip and stuff like that for like Progressive or your car insurance to track how you drive, same port, just a little thing. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. So we plugged it into the OBD2 over there, and then you're going to go to the main screens, hit the home button, and then click on that right there. And you're going to click on the link button, and then you're going to hit the search button, and that's going to find your OBD2. And then you go ahead and click on that, and I believe that just connects it automatically. There we go. I had just hit that too. Boom, connecting. And then we go tap that button, and then there's this button. And look, this one just says profile mode, so I might have to do some stuff. Oh, there it goes. All right. That's doing stuff, and then you can check engine codes. There is none. Graphing, adapter status, real-time information. That's what I want. Speed, temperature. Can we change that to Fahrenheit? Settings. Oh my God, there's so much that you can do with this. Oh, and it does emissions testing too. All right, neat. The main idea main reason I wanted to have this in here was to be able to check engine codes on the fly without carrying around a scanner, but this is pretty cool too. Next step, or next thing, is working on the backup camera, which is not going to be today because it's hot and we're tired. So I'll see you when I have a different shirt on. Okay, so I can finally update you on what is happening in this car now that I've done with it, because quite honestly, I didn't want to have to fumble my way through installing this backup camera only to not figure out what I'm doing. Anyways, let me show you. So, first of all, I ran this microphone. I did not fully take the A-pillar out because there's some tabs in here that are really difficult to get out, and I didn't really feel like doing that. So I just grabbed the inside here and pulled it away from the A-pillar, this trim piece, and it will pop out about 1/4 inch. And then I fed the cable all the way down here. I fed it down the driver's side, you can see right there. I fed it underneath the dashboard. You have to be very gentle down there because you don't want to end up anywhere that the little cable is going to get wrapped around, like your gas or your brake pedal or something like that. So I worked it in and around some of the wiring that's already down there, and I ran it over to the center column or the transmission tunnel, and it is dangling right there at the moment, but I haven't run a string yet. But that hole, if you can see straight back in there, down on the bottom and then to the left, next between the black and the gray, that hole feeds basically right underneath this piece of plastic trim, and you can see light through it. So I'm going to run the cable up through there and plug it into the back of the head unit. That said, I did the same thing on the other side for the GPS module, which keeps popping off because that tape sucks like a lot. But I did put that right there. Oh God, I'm gonna have to figure out something else to hold that in place. But yeah, I ran the cable down there, and then once again it's still running through this edge right here. And then for the backup camera itself, we have this yellow cable right here, which is the backup camera sensing line or the input, and then a red cable, which is the power. These are both coming off of the backup camera wiring harness. And then just like I'm gonna do for the microphone plug, I ran the backup camera plug through the same port on the other side, and then underneath the carpet, and then it's coming out over where those cables are right there. You can't really see it. And then I ran it underneath the door trim, which on the driver's side, it's just this piece right here. You can get your fingers up underneath, pull up real hard, it's just body clips, it pops out. And then there's a pinch weld track that you can run it all the way down, run the cable. So I ran it down there. Underneath the B-pillar column, I just kind of wiggled it with my fingers until it went underneath it, and then the same plastic trim track that popped out on the back seat, ran it under there, and then I ran it, oh boy, through this little edge right here between the seat and the C-pillar, and then I pulled the seat down and ran the cable into the trunk, Give me 1 second. Ran the cable into the trunk through that corner right there, up under the carpet. You can see it bundled up there. And then I removed 1 and 2 little plastic body clips. You can get a flat head into this little center portion, or just use your nail and pull it out that way. And that moves this bumper trim out just far enough that I can tuck the cabling behind that. It's running up right about right here. And then this, the little rubber gasket for your trunk, actually is just kind of friction sitting on the pinch weld of the trunk. And so you can pull straight out on that and it'll come off. And so I have that cable running underneath this gasket. You can see it ticking or poking through right there. And then I just push that gasket back down on top of it. And then I ran all of that down into here. And then I screwed the camera bracket onto the bumper here. I would have centered it, but unfortunately the light for the license plate is kind of in the way. So I had to off center it just a little bit, but I did test it before I ran all the wires. There is an extra power red cable and a ground black cable that's on the camera end of the wiring harness. You do not need to plug that in to anything. I just wrapped it up and then I stuck it back there with the rest of the cabling for the camera, and it'll be just fine. Because you have the power supply coming from the head unit, you do not need to use those 2 cables back by the rear of the car. Sorry, it's freaking hot out here. It's like 105 degrees and I am sweating so bad. Okay, I'm gonna finish running this last cable and then I'm gonna get the head unit reinstalled into the car with those 2 screws that we've already done before, and then I will show you the backup camera once it kicks on. All right, so here we are. We're gonna take the car and put it in reverse. During the installation of the head unit back into the car, I managed to unplug the signal wire for the camera. So I plugged that back in. Let's give it a test. Okay, going to reverse. Boom! Look at that. Can't see it too well, but there you go. It works. How awesome is that?
How neat is that? That's pretty neat.
Obviously this is in line with my usual channel content, but it is not on either of the cars that I have worked on so far on the channel. So if you guys enjoyed the content, please come back and see me again. And I don't really have anything else at the moment that's planned for this Mazda 3. However, I have had thoughts that as that car right there, my Mazdaspeed 3, gets upgraded to like a bigger turbo and some other stuff, maybe some of those parts can get transferred over to this car and we can see what that would do and have a little fun with that. I don't know. Whatever, we'll figure it out. If you guys are at all interested in that, please let me know down in the comments or whatever. And yeah, if you have any questions, also drop a comment. I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as I can. So hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to live from dusk till dawn, my dudes. See ya.